Hey guys, it's Fred and Sheila coming at you again with another video.
Hello, guys. Hope you're doing well this evening.
We're going to be in the background of this one also and just showing some information and a report from the TBI's, if you want to call it a report. It make good for Inquirer magazine back. Any of you guys old enough like we are to remember Inquirer magazine? Any one of these people would qualify to work for Inquirer magazine if that's all it takes anymore for a conviction or to slander somebody or to put somebody's reputation down, which we're going to get to that in a minute because, again, I've said it all along. It can go either way for any of these people, and we're getting some information on this guy here, any of you that may know him. I'm not going to put any of it out there yet because this man is also deceased, just like Buford Pusser, and it's bad enough to try to defend yourself if they were alive against certain innuendos and remarks. So I don't want to do the same thing to this guy that's been done to Buford Pusser, but we're getting information. This is Bill Way, W-A-Y, Bill Way. Evidently, Bill Way was a personality, a radio personality, entertainer. Thank you, babe. Back in his day. And going to Bill's, we'll go to his obituary in a minute. Let's try to go over the report first of all, and let's see what we can find out here. Authors, Michael Parsons, of course, that's the one that's in charge of that investigation, evidently. Investigative lead, audio recording of Mike Elam with Bill Way. Michael Parsons didn't even interview Bill Way. The TBI, there was no investigator from TBI that sat down and interrogated Bill Way. The only thing they had was a taped interview that Mike Elam had. You can go to his podcast and listen to it. This is one of the ones where Mike Elam says, and it's incredible, even when I think about that remark, because when Mike Elam said that, I thought it was funny, and I'm thinking right now, and Michael Parsons and the TBI didn't think that was funny, that that Mike Elam, at the beginning of his interview with Bill Way, he said, at the beginning of his podcast, he said, it's been edited, it's been redacted, I've only put certain parts in here. Guys, that's a clue. When somebody, if you're ever in court and you're hearing a testimony from somebody and an officer says, I've got a taped statement here, but or the prosecutor says, I've just taken out the important parts, throw that in the garbage. Tell them you don't want to hear it. If you can't hear the whole thing, don't hear none of it, because you're getting ready to be hornswoggled. That's what it amounts to. Why would they take it out? Let you listen to the interview, and you can weed out the parts that you feel is not important. What they may think something's not important to them may be very important to you, me, or Sheila. Just the way it is. Maybe they don't think it's important because it's exculpatory towards somebody else, and they don't want you to hear anything exculpatory, so they say, well, that's not that important. Well, it's not that important to them, but it would be to the person that they're talking about. On Friday, July the 21st, 2023, this agent, can you see that, babe? I can't see it.
This agent, okay, hold on. On Friday, July the 21st, 2023, this agent received a copy of an audio recording from Mike Elam via email. According to Elam, the audio recording was an interview he conducted with Bill Way in September of 2009.
Stop right there. 2009. 2009, guys. Imagine how long ago that was. Imagine him not knowing who Mike Elam was from Adam. Just two guys flapping their jaws on the phone, one of them taping for a future podcast, future book. And one of them, all you got to do to some people is just build them up, just brag on them. And they'll blow up an onion sack. The more you brag, the more you talk like it's really incredible what you're saying. It's really incredible what you know. And you run around with Warren Jones. That's incredible. Oh, yeah. This is the man that said that Buford Pusser put a 357 in his mouth and blew his cheek off, guys. Blew his jaw off.
Wow.
But go ahead, babe. Bill Way was a long time.
Okay, he was a long-time radio personality with WNWS 101.5 in Jackson, Tennessee. Bill Way died on November 27, 2018 at the age of 74.
Now, you realize, guys, how, I don't know, I didn't look at the date, but after Bill Way died, this interview came out on Mike Elam's podcast. Bill Way was dead, and now Mike Elam is clear to put this audio of him out there, edited audio, parts that he wanted to put out. Other than that, he's put it out on his podcast. In the audio recording, Bill Way provided that he was a reporter for the Commercial Apparel in Memphis, assigned to Jackson and Tennessee area, and run the West Tennessee Bureau. Way told Mike Elam in the recording that he didn't believe there was an ambush on August the 12th, 67. Well, guys, that's it. Close the books. Case closed. It's settled. We've got a radio personality here that says he didn't believe it. Oh, okay. No investigative skills, no private investigator, no police officer. What?
That's what I was going to ask. Why would they take his word over it? What is his credentials?
Sheila, they would take anybody's word. They take anybody's word, except somebody like that lady that wrote in or emailed in trying to give exculpatory evidence, or not exculpatory on Buford, but it was incriminating toward maybe somebody else, maybe Dennis Hathcock. It may have been incriminating toward him or somebody. They didn't want to hear that. He wrote the letter back and said, if you got something, give it to us. If you don't, thank you. And they didn't want nothing that was in that direction. But boy, you let a radio personality, and he's done told them it was an ambush and there was nothing to it. He didn't believe it. Way informed Elam that he covered pretty much everything that Buford was involved in. Way elaborated that his dad was a ranking officer with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Wow. My dad could fly airplanes. Don't mean I could fly airplanes. My dad was an astronaut. Don't mean I'm an astronaut. Goodness sakes, guys. People, just because people's parents are something, it doesn't make us anything. And I'm joking about my dad being an astronaut and flying planes, but it's just, that's what I'm telling you. You can say anything you want to, and there's people out there that will believe it. And especially, evidently, the TBI, because they've taken a man that's got a radio podcast, and because he said that he didn't believe there was an ambush, they put this in their report from Mike Elam. Because Mike Elam has a tape recording of a man in 2009 that said he just didn't believe there was a... Well, you can find them people out here all over the place today. They're everywhere. Go ahead.
That little sentence there is crazy. Did you read the whole thing?
Go ahead.
Way elaborated that his dad was a ranking officer with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and that opened doors for him with TBI, and that he knew former TBI Special Agent Warren Jones very well.
Yeah, he says that he rode around with Warren Jones.
Wow.
In that interview that Mike Elam has, he says that he rode around with Warren Jones, and Warren Jones told him that he didn't think it was this, or he thought Buford shot himself in the face, and that's where these rumors first came from. First, you've got Warren Jones, supposed to be an investigator, and he's out here talking to a civilian that happens to be a podcaster, a radio announcer. Wait till you hear in a minute. And this goes along with the stories that we're getting, I'm getting, about maybe Bill Way doesn't have the reputation that he's supposed to have or everybody thought he had. And again, guys, when people die, a lot of things start coming out. Some good, some bad. Some people don't tell it while people's a living because they're afraid to. And then sometimes, and that's why we're not putting it out here right now, because we want to check on some things some more and try to prove or get proof, because we don't want to do this man like they have done Buford Pusser and others. But this man here evidently has a reputation of his own from back in the day. If what we're hearing is the truth.
The next line is crazy too. This is where it came from.
Go ahead.
Way remarked that while they were not legally separated, Buford Pusser, Hayes Pusser, and Pauline Mullins Pusser were living separate lives at the time. So that's where that came from.
There's you, guys. Can you believe? I'll tell you the sad part of this whole thing is not only Buford and Pauline and Dewana, but the TBI. The TBI and the prosecutor's office has harmed themselves beyond ever. Guys, if I was in Tennessee and I ever needed the law, I would call Adamsville or McNairy County Sheriff or the Highway Patrol. I would stay away unless you just want to make up something and get a report wrote on somebody. You may want to call the TBI because they're good for that. But it certainly doesn't have to have evidence. I may send what I was sent on Bill Way to the TBI. Maybe they can go ahead and print that in a report, and let's see how well that goes. Let's see how that goes with his family and friends and his reputation, because they don't seem to care what they print about nobody. Wow. So maybe they'll print what we've been told, and let's see what happens there, because I'm not even going to do it to Bill Way until we investigate and find out further. But when we read the obituary here in a minute, it may be a little bit more clear as to what somebody's told us. But Way told Elam in the recording that he didn't believe there was an ambush at 12. Am I too high up, baby?
Yes,
I'm way up there now.
We were down here.
Living separate.
Right here.
Guys, Pauline went in there and woke Diane up that morning. They were leaving. Their bags were packed. Buford had got a haircut the day before and told the barber. Now, there would be no reason if you was going to do something, well, I don't know. They say everything's staged. They have an excuse for everything or a way out. I told you, Mike Elam is one of the best storytellers you'll ever find. Mike Elam should have actually written fictional storybooks for children, because he's got an imagination and a half. But Buford told the barber the day before when he got a haircut that they were going the next day on vacation. They were going to go see the in-laws and such as that. Pauline woke
up Diane and told her that she was going to go with Buford, that he had gotten a call, and that she was going to go with him because there's no telling how long he'll be gone, and they were wanting to get started on the vacation, that he loved to talk. So
Buford loved to talk, and she was going to rush him along. And told Diane that they'd be back after a while. That's the last. The kids were at the house. The bags were packed. They were ready to go. They were not in a hotel like Mike Elam has spoken in the history and has told people. He's told people that so many times, this illusionary truth, where he laughs and giggles and says if you tell them to them enough, they'll start to believe it. And that's what he did. They were not separated. They were not separated. This is Mike Elam. I'll have to go back and listen to that audio, but I think Mike Elam is the one that says that. Way remarked that while they were not legally separated, see, I think Mike Elam's the one that made that statement. Now, Way, they may have come out with a way to let Bill Way, where they could put that in here as coming from him, but I'm thinking Mike Elam is the one, and I could be wrong, But I'm thinking,
Well,
see,
yeah,
these
there's no way to
reports,
tell for sure.
these
yeah.
reports, they don't go back and get nobody to sign them. They write anything they want into history
Yep.
on these reports. And unless, like Mr. Howell, unless people goes and reads their report, and Mike Elam's not going to correct anything they say because Mike Elam, he wants it. He wants it to be against Buford Pusser. Why? Way explained that he knew that Buford and Pauline spent most of their time running around the bars in Jackson and Madison County. One bar in particular on the north side, Jackson called El Rancho.
Oh my goodness.
Went running around as anybody else, guys. I mean, they're out there, their children, their grandchildren. Has anybody ever heard that they went bar hopping? I don't know how he had time to go bar hopping. He was always out with all these other women, these other girlfriends they say he had. Way describe. You know, guys, this is how you redirect. Once again, you've got the TBI here. They're not talking about the ambush. They've not even mentioned the ambush in the last 5 paragraphs. They're talking about bar hopping. They're talking about that they were not living together. It's coming up here about a .357 pistol. Anything they can to stay away from the ambush. What does it have anything to do with the ambush, whether they was living together or apart? What does it have to do with the ambush? Let's go on. You got something, babe? I see you over there. Way described Buford Pusser was not hit by the rifle fire that morning, and that Buford shot himself in the jaw with his own .357 pistol, knowing that it would not be a fatal injury. Wow.
What's the expertise?
He's a pretty confident. Buford was pretty confident. .357 Magnum with Magnum rounds, but he knew it wouldn't be fatal. But don't worry about none of that because, see, I don't even know why we need TBI or Warren Jones. They should have put Way in charge of this investigation because he already knows that Buford was not hit with rifle fire. That's what you call written in the history, guys. And he knows that Buford shot himself in the jaw with his own .357 pistol.
Wow.
Knowing it would not be fatal.
Wow.
Go ahead, babe.
Way explained that he believed that it was the son of Jordan man who owned a nightclub not far from the Shamrock Motel, and Jordan's son, Junior something, was a contractor in Corinth, Mississippi. Way acknowledged the man's name was Hollis Jordan. However, did you notice something? He knows all this stuff about Buford and how he did this or that, but he didn't know Junior's last name?
Well, I think Junior's last name's a Smith, wasn't he?
Exactly.
Junior's last name was a Smith, if that's who he's talking about.
Somebody who knows everything or...
You don't know nothing, babe. You had 2 windjammers on there. You had a phone recording of 2 men that either one of them could probably blow up an onion sack, and neither one of them, from what we're gathering, has got a reputation. Let me go on.
Hollis Jordan is where
They
Mr.
said
Pusser was told to come. He said, come down New Hope Road. If it's not there, he said, then go on down to Hollis Jordan.
Yeah. If you don't find it there, come to Hollis Jordan's. Now, guys, you've heard what Bill Way said, or at least that's what TBI put in the report. See, I don't have a lot of faith in what the TBI says in their reports. I don't have faith from back when they said Warren Jones interviewed Buford and what Warren Jones wrote down and what Buford said, and then they say, well, that doesn't coincide with Buford's statement. Well, that's not Buford's fault. That may be something that somebody else wrote into their own words or wrote into history after 1974, after Buford Pusser was dead. See, the report come up missing in 76, but Buford Pusser died in 74. Once the man's dead, you can say anything you want to about him. Again, we're getting information on this guy here. We're getting information on this guy here. And while we're not going to put it in our video just yet, until we find out more or try to find some proof, when we get down here to a certain part about visitation and about funeral, it may explain. Well, it won't explain because you don't know what we've been told, but let's go on. I'm not going to read his obituary. He's got a long one. He was, seemed to me like he was a little bit of narcissist probably here. I got you. But it does. If you read through his obituary, I've read it, and he definitely liked himself. Talk radio legend Bill Way starred as a host. It's Your Turn. He was an entertainer. Bill was an entertainer. He loved to tell stories and was unmatched in his ability to spin tall tales.
Whoa.
Guys,
Whoa.
this is in the man's obituary. We just heard a tall tale over there that the TBI took as the truth, that the TBI put in a report like it really meant something because this man spoke it on a recording to Mike Elam, and whether it was actually spoken or not, again, I only heard 2 or 3 remarks that Bill made. Maybe Mike gave them the entire tape. Maybe they've included that in their report. If they didn't, you people that paid $400 for this report should be asking why. Where is the entire audio tape of Bill Way? Where is that? You don't want to hear parts of it. You don't want the redacted parts. You want to hear the entire conversation. What led up to this comment? What led up? Did Mike Elam lead? Was he leading with his questions? Looking for a certain response, and Bill Way, being the windjammer he was, being somewhat of a, could blow up an onion sack himself, not from my words, look here. He loved to tell stories and was unmatched in his ability to spin tall tales. He may have been unmatched up to the point of meeting Mike Elam, talking to Mike Elam on the phone, and that's probably what happened. You had 2 windjammers on the phone, each one of them trying to act like they knew more than the other one. I can just imagine that conversation.
Okay, I noticed one thing.
Go ahead.
Who's to say Mr. Way wasn't on medication because he had pancreatic cancer? I don't know when he was diagnosed with it, but who's to say that he wasn't on some kind of medication when Elam talked to him?
Well, he talked to him in 2009. I don't think he died till 2018, babe.
Right, 9 years later.
Yeah, I don't think he died till later, but anything's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to
Anything's
think.
possible.
Trying to figure that out.
He had an enormous social media following. Wow. Who else has got an enormous social media following? Does that make you an investigator? Does that make you a retired sheriff? Does that make you a retired law enforcement officer? Because you've got an enormous social media following? This is the man's obituary, guys. You can go read it. Just Google Bill Way, and there it is. Bill wanted to have a private service. Now, guys, I got a call. Well, Bill wanted to have a private service with immediate family only. Wonder why. This has been a struggle for the family because he's such a beloved public figure that thousands of friends near and far want to honor. There will not be a public memorial service. Wow. Now, I'm not going to go into it. Because, again, it could be nothing more than the same thing that him and Mike Elam and Mr. Roush and Mr. Davison and people like that have done to Buford Pusser. It may be exactly the same thing. Maybe there's somebody out there that says, I know this or I know that, or he done this or he done that. And even if you have any doubt, which I did in the beginning, and then I go start researching and I read the obituary and I find this, and it coincides with what this person was saying. Why would you want a private service? Why didn't you want all of his friends? He loved the attention. There will be no public memorial service. Maybe one day, let's research it some more. Let's see what we find out. And if we can confirm what I've been told, then you can guarantee that we'll do a story on it, and it may give you a better understanding as to who this person was. My whole life has been guided by two philosophies.
Really?
This is what Bill said. I'm often wrong, but never in doubt. I'm often wrong.
Really?
He admits that he's often wrong.
So he could be wrong about everything
He
just
is
stated.
wrong. He is wrong.
I mean, but since he said he's often
Well, you ain't
wrong.
heard nothing yet. Wait till you hear this next line. With me, it's 90% entertainment and 10% information.
Whoa.
I promise you the 10% information will be entertaining. In other words, he's 100% entertainment. He promised you that he's 90% entertainment and 10% information, but even the 10% information that this man's going to give you is going to be entertaining, Sheila.
So to me, that cancels out everything he said about Mr. Pusser.
Sure it does. But you got to understand, he's telling it to Mike Elam. Mike Elam is the same. You could use this same obituary for Mike Elam one day. This man tells you in his own words.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That is...
This man tells you in his own words.
He's often wrong.
He loved to tell stories and was unmatched in his ability to spin tall tales.
Wow.
Tall tales such as a man shot himself in the face with a .357 Magnum. A man would do that. Tall tales such as families separated, living apart.
Wow.
I think this guy here lived in a different part of Tennessee at the time. I don't think he lived near McNairy County, did he? Did he live in McNairy County? Jackson, Tennessee. Wow. Is Jackson in McNairy? It could be. I could be wrong. Again, I've just started getting information, and not even now I'll probably get more now that this video is going to go out. If you guys out there know Bill Way, you know what's fair for the goose, fair for the gander. If you understand or you know why Bill didn't have a public as well liked as he was, and as well the way that he loved the attention from his fans, and he had an enormous social media following, why did this guy not have a funeral? I'm asking a question. I don't know. Well, I've been told, but I don't know for a fact. With me, it's 90% entertainment and 10% information. Well, you got no information over there. You got Buford Pusser that was at the ambush scene, and Buford Pusser and Pauline was shot. You got that part right. Buford wasn't shot with a .357. Buford was shot with a 30 cal. That's according to Dr. Pillar. Dr. Pillar said he was shot 2 to 3 times. If you've ever shot a semi-automatic rifle or pistol one after the other, boom, 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 you could have had 2 rounds followed right through at the same time. There was something that gave Dr. Pillar that impression. There was something that gave Dr. Pillar or his plastic surgeon in Memphis. Dr. Craven, was it, babe?
Not for sure, but I
so
that
that's okay.
In there if you want,
but
I don't remember that one. I believe you're right though.
It would have been in the report, guys. I'm not going to elaborate. I'm chopping at the bit to make a comment, and she's over here beating me to death. And at least when we do a video like this, you can't see her hitting me. I'm getting ready to get her for domestic. She's going to knuckle punch me. That's what she tells me all the time.
I call it knuckle punch.
You keep it up, I'm going to knuckle punch you. This is interesting, guys. And this is how the stories... Now, this is what they indicted. This is what they convicted Buford Pusser on in front of that podium that day with all those Mark Davison signs on the podium and behind the podium and around the podium and on the Facebook pages and on the news and newspapers and everywhere you look. Fame, fortune, and name recognition. That's what this was all about. And this is just another, just like the two women that said that the two, I know it. Sheila don't like me to call it that, but two women that was hanging out in the parking lot at 4 o'clock in the morning of a nightclub and said they heard an argument. Just like the two women that said they were repeating what they said. Just like all these people that they've got in this report that ain't got a thing to do with the ambush other than Mike Elam has written them in the history. Mike Elam has put them in his book or on a podcast. Or Oakley Baldwin, same way. No proof, just nothing more than rumors and speculation, and that's no big deal because those are book authors. Those are people wanting to make a dime. They could care less about people's feelings or their reputation until it comes to theirs. And I have a feeling, just like somebody had texted us earlier with this comment here, I have a feeling that one day when they pass, somebody, we may not be here, but somebody might, and they might do it themselves, and they might post something and say, hey, I remember when he done this. I remember when they done that. I remember when they didn't have no funeral because they were afraid of this or that. Were they? See, we don't know. We don't know whether something's a rumor or something's true. Unlike Mr. Bill Way here, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I won't put on a video what I was told either by text or on the phone. I won't belittle him like that, just in case it's not the truth. But with no funeral, with things that, after I went back and looked at the obituary and realized that it's interesting. It's interesting how these people point these fingers, guys. You know, I'm sitting here pointing fingers. It may sound like I'm pointing fingers. You can call it that if you want. The Bible says, the 9th commandment. What is it,
Thou
Sheila?
shalt not bear false witness.
Thank you. Thou shalt not bear false witness. And Sheila was talking the other night. We was laying in bed talking, and even the 10th commandment. Thou shalt not, Covet. Thou shalt not covet. People's bearing false witness against Buford Pusser. And some of those people are even coveting Buford Pusser. They're coveting his reputation. They're coveting his fame. He was famous, and they want some of his fame. They want some of his attention. And it's sad. It's sad. Thanks, guys. Catch you next. Babe, you got anything before I cut it off?
No, it's all good. I'm good. Thank you, though.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.